Hey y'all, what's up, what's good? It's your girl Michaela Janae here, back to another video, and in today's video, as you guys know, it's the end of the month, so I have to come at you guys with a reading wrap up. This month was a really good reading month for me. I actually had to tell myself to stop because I was currently in the middle of a few books. At this moment, I was like, let me just stop so I can include it in May's video. I have enough books for the month of April, so let's just hop right into it. So the first book that I read in the month of April was actually a new author to me. It was Rodeo Sabotage by Carrie Trumbo. And before I get into this book, let me tell you guys a little bit about myself. If you guys are new here, please make sure you're watching the video all the way through so you guys can get all my book recommendations. I am a romance reader and I am a e-reader. I borrow books from the library. I find free books online. That's what I do. I actually don't have any physical books in this wrap up. All of it's going to be e-readers, so of course I'm going to have the cover right here at all times. And I only read Christian or closed door / clean romance books. So if that is something that you're interested in, go ahead, get a little notepad, make sure you have your screenshot ready so you guys can get these books in, because every month I share with you all what clean and Christian romances I've read that month. So if that sounds interesting to you, make sure you're subscribed to this channel with your post notifications turned on, and also make sure you're following me on Instagram because that's where I dive deeper into things about my life, hair things, faith things, all of that is over on Instagram, so make sure you are following me over there. And let me go ahead and get into this description. Okay, it says Jason Kelly are targeted by the same killer who wants him out of the bull riding championship. When the killer makes themselves known, they aren't sure they'll survive to see another day. So this is my actual first like mystery thriller Christian clean romance. Okay, it had a lot going on in this book, but I will say that I liked this author's writing and I really enjoyed this book to say it was a mystery. You guys know I basically just like a regular romance, a little sports romance thrown in. I had never really read or got into any type of mystery or thriller. This one really had me on the edge of my seat the whole time because I did not know what was coming next. Okay, Jace is a bull rider, like I said in the description, and with all his like bull riding championships, tournaments, I don't even know what it's called, but every time he has to go and bull ride, something happens to him where he gets injured. Something is throwing the bull off, and basically he knows that someone is out to get him. Someone does not want him to win the big prize. They don't want him to stay on top of his career. During this certain bull riding championship or bull riding exhibition, I don't even know, during this one event, he meets this EMT who is actually Kelly, and from their first meeting, the person who is out to get him is like, now I'm out to get Kelly too. So from there the story takes off and they're basically thrown in this thing together. They did not know each other prior to that night in Las Vegas. Kelly is from Las Vegas and she has a brother who's also a police officer. He ends up helping them, and the story is really crazy. Like, you can kind of guess who it is, but then when things go on in the book, you really are just shook and there's a twist and you don't know what's going to happen. So I really enjoyed it. To me, the romance was a little like iffy because they really didn't know each other, and to me they fell kind of fast, but I'm glad they didn't get into a relationship too fast. You really got to walk it out and really feel it out from each of their perspective. It was dual POV, which I also love, so you guys to see what was going on in their mind and really understand who each person thought was after them, because getting their opinion helps you form your own opinion of like, okay, who do I think is after both of them? Who would want to hurt both of them knowing that they didn't know each other? So that being said, I would definitely give this book like a 4.5 stars. Like, it's so close to being a 5. It really is so close. It's basically a 5, and I would just give it a 4.5 because it was my first mystery. But if you love a mystery clean romance, I'm recommending this book to you because it was so good, and I really didn't know until the very end who did it. But the suspense, it was very good, and the things that were happening were also very good. I think they did have some faith sprinkled in there, I believe, but no matter what, it was completely clean. You were really focusing on the mystery more than anything. You weren't even focusing too much on their relationship. You know, they had an attraction going on, but that wasn't the main focus. You was focusing on how they was going to get out of this, the things that were happening to them, and it definitely kept me on the edge of that seat, honey. I loved this book. I would definitely read some more by this author. So once again, 4.5 out of 5 stars. Next, I read another new author, Leah Brunner. I don't think I've read anything by her before, but this is The Housemaid. Let's get into the description. It says, as a surgeon and single father, my life is chaotic. I thought hiring a new nanny, my boss's daughter, would solve all my problems, but instead I can't stop thinking about her, which is just going to make my life even more complicated. So this was another book that I got through super quick because it was very interesting to me. As you guys heard, the guy is a surgeon, and his boss in the hospital, he kind of looks at him as a father figure. His parents passed away in a car accident, so him and his sister basically only have each other, so they didn't really grow up together. He was adopted into their family as an adult. They were already grown. She was doing her thing. She is actually an ex-military spouse. Well, she's a military widow. While she was pregnant, her husband was serving overseas, and then she got that really tragic door knock where they were just telling her that her husband had passed away while at combat. It was very sad. It happened right in the beginning of the book, so it's not a spoiler, but she is a widow. She goes home to be with her parents so they can help her raise her child, but after a while she realized that that is too much and that she has to get her own place. But her parents are rich and controlling, and they just believe that a woman should stay at home until she finds a husband and that she doesn't have to work and yada yada yada. But she made a pledge with her deceased husband that she would not spoil her child and that she would not use her inheritance to raise her. She wants to raise her as an independent woman and to show her that you don't need other people's money and you don't need to live in excess to live a really good life, and basically want to show her how to work for things. So she wants to get her own place and be a little bit more independent. And it turns out that this guy, the surgeon, the family friend, has an open nice apartment built into his house. It was kind of like in his garage, I believe. Not his garage, in his basement. She accepts. So when she accepts to live in his apartment, instead of paying rent, she's just basically going to babysit his daughter. He has a sister, and the sister was living with him at the current time, but she moved on. She got a new job and she wants to become independent too, so she moved out of the apartment. Okay, it was perfect for both of them. It was very surprising, and their romance was also very cute. When it came to like the third act struggle and what they like broke up and got upset over, it kind of was annoying me a little bit because the girl was kind of overreacting. Like the lie he told, or basically the facts he omitted from part of his story, were essential, and it really didn't have anything to do with him. It more so had something to do with his sister. So to me, the woman was being a little bit unreasonable when it came to that breakup. She should have offered a little bit more grace. But overall, because of that little issue, I would give it a 4.5 out of 5 stars. I don't know why I'm in a 4.5 type of mood, but this book was still really good. It was just that little issue of her not understanding. I didn't like that third act breakup reason. You know, you got to have a really good reason for that breakup, and to me, she should have been a little bit more understanding. But overall, I still loved this book, and I can tell that I would definitely get into more by this author because I love it. It was two working people. Real things were going on in their lives, real life situations, and I would definitely read more by her. Okay, so the next book that I read was actually a non-fiction book. Your girl is trying something a little bit different, but it is Broke Millennial Takes on Investing, a beginner guide to leveling up your money by Erin Lowry. This is actually an audiobook. I read it while I was doing some braids. It didn't take me long at all. I actually finished it in one day. It's about 6 hours long, and she's basically giving her tips on investing. I am a little bit interested in investing and creating generational wealth, and you know, just how to grow my money once I get enough money to start growing it. I just want to be prepared and have that financial education, and this book was really good. She went in depth and she gave a lot of impactful information, and it kind of just started my mind of clicking to understand investing and understand different language, different lingo, and how could I go about it with different amounts of money. So I really did like this book. I would give it a 5 out of 5 stars. I saw no issues with it. I feel like it was impactful, and I enjoyed that it was an audiobook and that it was narrated by the author, a woman, and she was just talking to the girls. It was a real girly girl book while being straight to the point about investing. So if you are interested in investing or, you know, financial security and stuff like that, definitely check out this book because it was really good and it definitely helped me. It was something that I would probably even buy in person to where I can use it as kind of a guidebook and see it in my hand, so I can go back on it whenever I am ready to start investing. Okay, so the next book that I read in the month of April is something very exciting because it is a new book. I read The Rule Book by Sarah Adams. As you guys know, Sarah Adams is a usual clean author. She's not a Christian, but she doesn't include any unclean scenes in her book, okay? Sometimes she would toe the line, but she would never hop over the fence. In this book, she did feature an unclean scene. This was her first time, and it was very controversial in the book community. But one thing I did appreciate about this book and about Sarah Adams is that she made it completely skippable. So I was able to completely skip that one chapter, and without even missing anything, the story just flowed and continued to go. So I just want to give that disclaimer. If you're somebody who was on the fence about reading it, it was really good. It wasn't that bad when it came to language and topics in the book. But like I said, the scene that we all want to avoid was completely skippable to me. And like someone else said, another Christian booktuber said, the tone did shift a little bit. I didn't really appreciate that after the scene. But overall, the twist in the book that you didn't even know was going to happen was really nice, that she had that occur in that scenario. I don't want to give too much away because it is a plot twist of the little scenario. But let's just get into this description. It says, Nora McKenzie's entire career lies in the hands of a famous NFL tight end, Derek Pender, who also happens to be her extremely hot college ex-boyfriend. Nora didn't end things as gracefully as she should have back then, and now it has come back to haunt her. Derek is her first client as an official full-time sports agent, and he's holding a grudge. Derek sets his sights on a little friendly revenge. If Nora McKenzie, the first girl to ever break his heart, wants to be his agent, oh, he'll let her be his agent. The plan is simple: make Nora's life miserable. But if Derek knows anything about the woman he wants to love, she won't quit easily. If you are interested in reading this book, don't read the full description because it's going to give away the plot twist, and I don't want you guys to know the plot twist, because once it hits you without reading the back of the book, you're going to be surprised. So do not read the back of the book. Just go into it if you like sports romances and know that you can skip over that chapter, okay? But now to a rating, I would definitely give it a 4 out of 5 stars, not even at 4.5. It was good. I love a football romance. You know, the main character, I wasn't feeling her all the time, and then their past backstory was a little iffy for me. Like the reason she broke up with him, it wasn't really relatable to me. There was a lot of miscommunication and basically no communication going on, and that's not a trope I really like. I like honesty but of course you're not always going to get that. But yeah, the miscommunication was definitely there. They should have been way more honest with each other, so I would definitely give it like a 4 out of 5 stars. That's where it missed the mark for me. I wouldn't even give it that 0.5. To me, the scene that was unclean was kind of unnecessary. She didn't even really have to include it, but you know, that's her writing, it's her prerogative. But of course I don't enjoy that in my books. I just want to give her a try. If she continues to go in that direction, I probably will not continue to read her books if all of them are going to include that, because while I'm reading, I don't want to have to skip over stuff. I just want to read my book and be involved in the story fully. So I would give it a 4 out of 5 stars. Yeah, I don't like to read a book where I can't relate to the female, or I don't really like the female character. So that's what was going on in this book. But if you are a Sarah Adams fan and you want to stay in the universe, it is in the same universe as The Cheat Sheet, which I really did enjoy. If you like it, go ahead and give her a try to know whether or not you want to keep reading her books or not. But this one really wasn't for me. So the next thing that I read in the month of April is Love Unscripted by Denise Hunter. I have read something else by Denise Hunter. I don't remember what it is, but this is not my first time getting into her books. Fresh off the heels of a bad breakup, Chloe Anderson poured her heart into penning The Perfect Boyfriend, and the result was an off-the-charts debut beach read that resonated with women worldwide. Now, Chloe's scripted hero is headed for Hollywood, with her book destined to become a major motion picture. When Chloe gets wind that silver screen bad boy Liam Hamilton has been cast as the ideal and every-way hero of her novel, she's horrified by the film director's choice. How could a player like Liam possibly do Chloe's perfect hero justice? Unafraid to speak her mind, Chloe lets her executive producer know she's 100% opposed to the casting. Oops, the call is on speakerphone, where the annoyingly attractive Hollywood star hears Chloe's unbridled outrage firsthand. This description is very long, so I'm not even going to read all the description, because sometimes they write too much of a description and it's giving you too much of the book. I don't want to give you too much of the book. Chloe is the author of this amazing rom-com book, and they want to turn it into a movie, but when she sees who's cast as the lead, she's like, no. this real life guy is not matching this guy that I wrote in the book. She's very attached to the character because she was recently out of a breakup. So he overhears that she doesn't want him to be in the movie, which upsets him a little bit. He comes into town, they run into each other, and then things take off from there. They have to go into fake dating, which is a trope I like, but of course there is a little bit confusion. You don't know what's real, you don't know what's fake, and they don't communicate properly. But I would give this book a 5 out of 5 stars because it had a good amount of things going on in the plot that had you thinking like, okay, who did this, who did that, what's going on? But I really enjoyed it. It was a fun, quick read for me. It was so easy for me to get through it. And I enjoyed both of the characters. I love that it was a bookish book. She was an author, he was an actor, which were very interesting. And of course, it was set in North Carolina, and I love a North Carolina book for some reason. Like, so many of the books I read are set in North Carolina. So this one definitely gave what it needed to give because you got the atmosphere, the beach. You felt like you were in that North Carolina town, and it felt really good to be engulfed in their world. And they were both casting their own insecurities on each other, but overall this book was really good, completely clean, and very interesting. So I give it a 5 out of 5 stars. The next book that I read in the month of April is An Apology in Bloom by Suzanne Woods Fisher. This one was actually a novella. It was only 112 pages, which definitely caught me by surprise. I don't think I've read anything else by this author. Whenever I looked her up, the rest of it looked like period pieces, which I do not read historical romance at all. So I probably will not read anything else by this author unless she does something else like this again, because honey, right off the rip, 5 out of 5 stars. Usually I don't like a novella, I don't like a short book, I like a long book, but she really threw us into this story. So Jamie Harper may have learned the art of flower design at a quaint shop in Sunrise, North Carolina, but it's in the bustling heart of New York City where she has to come into her own. Working alongside the charismatic Liam McMillan, Jamie arranges flowers that graces the poshest weddings in town, and she has her plans for even bigger and better things. When her ambition outruns her good sense just before the most expensive wedding epic events is ever coordinated, Jamie finds that sometimes rising stars have spectacular falls. When a letter arrives from her former mentor Rose Reed claiming that all is forgiven and asking her to come home to Sunrise to the flower shop, Jamie must make a choice. Stay in New York and face the consequences of her colossal failure, or go home to face the woman she hurt so deeply on that terrible long ago summer date. Now, the one thing I dislike about this book is that it was a novella. I feel like because the author usually does a different type of genre, she usually does like historical fiction or whatever, maybe she was just dipping her toe into this book. I needed more. This book left so many questions unanswered, but it gave you just enough to be intrigued, okay? If she could do a part 2 to this book if she wanted to. Because when it came to Jamie and what happened in her small town of Sunrise, we don't know. This book didn't tell us. We have no idea what was going on. We kind of were thrown into the middle of this story, but what was going on was so interesting. What was going on between her and Liam, and the plot twist with Liam was just, it shook me. I loved Jamie as a character, and I loved that she was a florist. That was something different. The decisions she made were like spot on, and she confronted people. I love when they confront people and they don't just let things go without telling the person that they know what they know. I love that. But I just wish I got more out of this story. I wish that it was way longer and she was able to flesh out more things and really give this story a chance. But overall, I'm gonna still give it 5 out of 5 because it was so good. If you're looking for a quick read, this is definitely it. It is a romance, but it's really a light, airy romance. The feelings were mutual between her and Liam, but not in the way you think. So if you are interested in a quick little romance, definitely check this out. So many books in this month. The next book that I have for the month of April is Our Secret Song by Emily C. Childs. Once again, new author to me, but Christian clean author, I believe. This one is a rock star romance, which I love a clean rock star romance. Rock star and athletes, definitely one of my favorites. But it says a chatty librarian and an introverted rock star end up as an unconventional roommates. It might be a match made in heaven or a total disaster. So once again, since she didn't include the names in this description, I don't know the people's names. There's this girl. Okay, we're gonna call her girl. This girl, she just graduated college, I believe, and she is engaged to this man. The man basically ditches her right before her wedding, cancels their apartment. She has nowhere to stay. He took some of her money. He had been taking the money the whole time, and he left her for her stepsister. heart-wrenching. But she has a brother, and she tells the brother what's going on, and he's like, I'm gonna come down there because I was already supposed to come for the wedding. I'm gonna come help you. And she's like, no, you don't have to do that. I'm gonna figure it out. So now she was broke, homeless in Las Vegas. Another Las Vegas one, really funny. But so the brother goes behind her back and adds his childhood best friend into the mix, who is also the rock star in this scenario. But he grew up with this girl and her brother in their little small town, so he knows her, they have history, and he offers her a place to stay. Now that's where the story takes off, because once they begin staying with each other, which first of all, she didn't even want to stay with him. They hadn't talked in years because they had a little bit of history and it did not end well. They had a lot of history actually, and he kind of ghosted her. He became a celebrity and she just continued living her life, going to college. She met the ex-fiance and she wants to forget about that rock star and that part of her life. But now that she needs his help and she needs a place to stay, she's thrown back into that relationship. She's thrown into their past. And then there is fake dating that they have to do to help his reputation. And this book was really good. There was some previous drug abuse. He was in rehab for a period of time, but then he was clean. There was scandals that he had to deal with. There was his ex-girlfriend lying on him. There were so many things going on, so many moving parts. The girl and her brother did not have the best childhood growing up when it came to their parents. It was very messy. The mama was very messy, very terrible parents. I would give this book a 5 out of 5 because there was nothing I disliked about it. It was a very good read and it kept me very intrigued because I was trying to see what was going on and how things were going to be resolved. And once again, I love a musician, so their love for each other was so cute. To definitely read it. I would definitely read some more by this author. Okay, and last but not least, I'm finally done. Like I said, in April I was just reading up a storm, and I'm still reading, but I'm gonna finish those books and we're gonna include that at the end of May. Okay, the last book I have is by Judy Corey. You guys know that I enjoyed her book so much, so I'm so happy that I found this book online for free. This is Assisting My Brother's Best Friend. It's a part of the Billionaire Romance. I think there's just 2 other books I didn't read in the Billionaire Romance series. It says, Drew, confession. When I received the wedding announcement of my best friend's sister, Kate, I thought becoming the Bachelor on a reality TV show would help me move on. Guess what? It completely backfired. To make matters worse, the show has hired her to assist me in getting engaged before the finale airs. Yeah, I didn't exactly propose to my final pick on the last day of filming. Oops. Kate, when I agreed to help my high school crush get engaged, I thought it would be simple. What I didn't expect was to be hiding the fact that my marriage was annulled after only 3 months. Like I said, sometimes the description gives too much, but at least I know their names. So Kate got married to this guy. She thought he was perfect, but then once she got into the marriage, he was abusive. So she had to get out of that immediately. Her parents helped her get it annulled because he was mentally abusive to her and verbally abusive to her. And she was real embarrassed by that. So she didn't tell anybody that the marriage ended. She was walking around with the ring on. I couldn't imagine being in that situation where you thought this man was something and then he's not. But I would have been telling people that he's not, he's trash, you know. But I guess you also to a point scared and you kind of don't want to ruffle feathers. I definitely can understand that. So she was walking around in the ring. She didn't tell people that the marriage was over. So of course Drew thought the marriage was still a thing. And once he realized that his handler quit, he needed a new handler slash assistant. He was like, I know this girl. I saw her in the grocery store. We grew up together. She's married, so this is perfect. She becomes his assistant. And then, of course, as always, the story takes off from there. It was very sweet. I love Judy Corey's writing. It really throws you into the story. It was another reality show romance for me. This was only my second one, but I really enjoyed it, surprisingly. I like getting into the book of just showing how unreal reality shows and shows like The Bachelor are, because these people really don't be in love, and then you just never know who's fake on there and what's going on. They had many plot twists and just crazy things going on when it came to the contestants of his show, but he didn't want to marry any of them. He wanted to be with Kate. And once he found out that her marriage wasn't real, it was on and popping. He knew he wants to be with her. But of course he signed contracts, which I don't even know why would he sign up for this. He already had money. He didn't need to be on a reality show. But I guess he was so heartbroken over Kate's. Even though they hadn't talked in years, things had gone on. Kate lost her brother, which was Drew's best friend. So he was really tore up over that. He felt like it was his fault, even though it wasn't. And it was just a really sweet romance. I would honestly give it 5 out of 5 stars. It was very different than the last book I read like that, because she wasn't a contestant this time. She was his assistant, basically seeing the background of all how it works and how fake it is, which I enjoyed, of course. So I hope you all enjoyed this little video. My voice is hoarse from all this talking. I read a lot of books this month, but so many of them were good. I really enjoyed them. So I hope you guys enjoyed them. I hope you wrote some of these down. I hope you are on your Libby app. Go see if your library offers Libby so you guys can read these free books. You never know what's included. It's not even Libby, excuse me. Check your Libby app, but we are on Cloud Library over here. I completely forgot about that. A little Cloud Library update. I'm still loving it. They have so many books that I was not expecting them to have. So many books we didn't have over on Libby. So I don't know what's that about, but I'm not taking it for granted. It's so easy to customize Cloud Library. I'm loving it. Hopefully my library doesn't switch again anytime soon, because Cloud Library is exactly where I want to be. For next month, I'm definitely going to be diving into new authors because my eyes are completely open to the world of clean Christian romance. There's so much out there, and I actually want to get into some Black authors next month because there are very few clean Black authors, but I found one and I just want to delve into her work to see what I can get. I know Nicole Deese has a new book coming out. I love her book, so hopefully that is going to be on my Cloud Library. Stay tuned for that. I also got approved for my very first ARC. If you guys do not know what that is an advanced reader copy of a book so you can review it. And I saw on Instagram that a clean Christian author was asking for people to join her ARC team, so I got approved and I got the book, so I would definitely be reviewing that for you guys. I'm reading it right now. Her book drops on May 7th. Hopefully I'm not uploading that too late or whatever, but I really am enjoying it so far. Hopefully I can be a part of more ARC teams and get more advanced copies of books because I love it. Okay, it's great so far. I hope you all enjoyed this video. Leave a comment down below of what you read this month. I want to know. You guys be giving really good suggestions when it comes to books and authors, so let me know what you read. Let's have a conversation. I reply to every single comment. I'll see you guys in my next video.